Folks, what's up? Okay, making a cup of mushroom coffee right now, but hey, welcome to my tips for eating healthy. This is especially useful, I guess, if you're poor or just don't have a lot of money. But I don't really like to identify with my lack of money. I don't like to identify with my situation because my situation can always change. So that's a good tip. Try not to identify with that shit. Okay? A lot of people say, oh, I'm bad, or I'm bad, like, stuff like that, right? But identifying with that will really only keep you there. Anyways, so yeah, here's some tips for eating healthy. I've been eating healthy for a long time and just doing a lot of on and off studying. Disclaimer, I am not a nutritionist. This is not medical advice. I don't have any allergies or anything like that I have to go around, so if this doesn't work for you due to allergies, then I'm sorry. Hold on. But yeah, let's get into it. So the hardest part about eating healthy is a matter of, like, time. It's money. Or it's mostly just time and money, right? Stuff like quality of the ingredients. If you, like, the main things are time and money, so, like, stuff like quality of the ingredients doesn't really matter. Oh, and third, knowledge. Knowledge is really important as well. And knowledge is something that, like, you don't just, like, have knowledge. But we'll get into that in a second. In terms of time, how do you... Oh yeah, fourth, expectations. I don't know if I'm even going to get to all of that, get through all of that stuff in the video, but yeah, don't expect yourself to be, like, from 0 to salad in, like, 24 hours, okay? You don't need to make instant changes overnight. You don't need to make drastic changes unless you want to, unless you're ready for that. You can do it if you want to do it and you're ready for it, and you really believe that you can pull it off. I believe in you. Go for it, okay? But try to keep your expectations in line and just sort of eat healthy one step at a time. Add a thing or two there, remove an ingredient here or there. Don't be too crazy with it. You don't need to go like full vegan or anything like that, raw food vegan in like 30 hours. I decided to go like sort of towards veganism. I started with vegetarianism and I've been doing this for like 8 months. I think I'm doing okay. Not the best, just due to the first two things, the real villains of the story, which are time and money. So money, let's start with money. Money is like, it's not the hardest thing in the world, which sounds like ridiculous, sure, but like there's like so much cheap, like relatively healthy food. Beans, quinoa, at least where I come from, I can pick up a thing of quinoa for like $2, like a pound of quinoa for $2, and like high fiber, highly nutritious, no arsenic, and just a little extra calories at the end of the day. You know, beans only cost like $1 a can, and I prefer the can because it's way easier to cook canned beans than it is to cook like soaked beans, unless you have like a pressure cooker. Because you have to, they're a little bit higher maintenance. Of course, you can like spend a couple hours soaking them and doing all of that, but that's not what I prefer. There's like lentils. Lentils are really cheap, highly nutritious, high protein. Just, if you go, like, one of my favorite websites for like looking up nutritional facts is drax.com, because he lays out pretty much all of the content and he sources everything. He gets his information from the USDA. So yeah, that's sort of dipping into the whole knowledge point. But like, yeah, lentils, quinoa, beans, grains, all of this stuff, super cheap, super easy, and like, the thing is, you don't have to eat like just bad food, right? Understanding some very, very basic, but maybe slightly misguided principles can at least have your food tasting edible. Like, for example, like, you add a little sugar, you add a little spice, you add a little bitter, or not bitter, but, you add a little sour for brightness, which you can get from lemons, limes, and vinegar. stuff like that. And then salt, pepper, garlic, onion, lemon juice, some fat, salt, fat, acid, and sweet. The sweet, I use stevia. I don't use sugar, but you can use a little bit of sugar. It's not the worst thing in the world. Fat, use oil, like olive oil or something like that. Acid, you can use vinegar, lemons, limes, stuff like that. Or tomatoes sometimes. I think tomatoes are pretty acidic, but I'm not too sure about that. And yeah. Okay, salt. Oh, yeah. Salt, of course, you just add that. And then garlic and onion just make everything good. And then you throw in some like nutritional yeast and some spices. Pretty much when it comes to spices, you start to see like a pattern of like, oh, these spices are like Mexican spices, so if you put them all in a dish, you get a relatively Mexican tasting dish. It's not great, it's not traditional, it's just there, and it tastes fine. But yeah, that's kind of how you work with like taste. Oh yeah, taste is another aspect. And you have relatively tasty food. Yeah, make sure you're eating fruits and vegetables. Don't eat anything that has like an ingredients list like as big as this, unless you're very careful about your ingredients. And that leads on to our next topic, knowledge. You slowly just look up ingredients over time. Don't expect to have every ingredient memorized. Oh, I'm running out of time. I only have 8 minutes on my phone. But yeah, don't expect to have every ingredient memorized in the beginning. You just look shit up, and you look it up again if you forget, and you just build a knowledge base over time. And that's how you start to be like, okay, well, I should try and avoid this. Or maybe it's not too bad to risk having this in my food. Stuff like that. In terms of time, stuff like just throwing a salad in a bag with some dress, like buying a salad bag, throwing some dressing in there, any kind of like vinaigrette or dressing, depending on like whatever you're looking for. I use a vinaigrette. And it just tastes great. It tastes great. You just eat a bunch of green stuff, and that's good, right? Yeah, green stuff is just full of antioxidants and full of like anti-inflammatory things and phytochemicals and stuff. Like, just great stuff. So yeah, you definitely want to have some greens. Fiber, like super high nutrient content relative to their calories. But yeah, that's my little guide to eating healthy. Bye.